Now I'm going to talk about the 2-year-olds as we drive home. Obviously, 3 of them broke out in a big way last night. Just showed the preparation and work that we've put into them at the stable and how they've progressed as racehorses. I'd done a video moments ago just about how impressive they were last night, in case you missed it. Tactical Mounds, second, trotted in 55-4 last quarter, 28-3. Brace for Landing, trotted in 56-28 flat on the end of it. And also Landing Strip, trotted in 56 and a piece, 28 and a bit in the end of it. All 3 of them very impressive last night. A second, and a third, and all 3 will be heading to the final of the New Jersey Sire Stakes B Division next week. Now, we have a number of people asking about some of the 2-year-olds. I did a video on Wednesday about all of them, but I'm going to do a video again today. I'm going to run through this a little quicker, as not a lot's changed since Wednesday, but it's still changed for the summer. Absolute Euphoria continues to train down. Very happy with this filly. She's moved back down to Tamiko just for the next week or so. We're shuffling some stalls around as we head into stake season and getting some horses fired up. Absolute Euphoria has been training down good, looks good. I've been very, very happy with her. Anchors Up, I saw him on the track. Still, those stifles are still so big and sloppy on that colt. I still don't know how he's still a stud. We may castrate that guy. I guess it makes sense to castrate him this week. Give him a little more time as we try to prepare him for November, because there is stake races in November. At the Red, now they don't have the new track this year. They're not going to have it ready in time, so they're racing those stake races at Lexington. So the new track in what was the name of it? Starts with a G. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're not racing this year, but that stake meet will continue as scheduled at the Red Mile. Stupid thing. So Anchors Up, and you don't need to do that, really. Let's bypass that. There you go. Put it in. So Anchors Up and Absolute Euphoria are going good now. 12:01:76. Wow. Thank you. What else do we have here? We have Austral Hanover, who's a well-deserved rest. I keep touting this guy, but just some of the horses just made me so proud this year. The horses that we, like last night, we expected those horses to come around, right? The good horses were expected to show up at some point. This guy was never expected to show up for the most part, and he did in such a big way. Just had a tremendous year. Brace for Landing, as I said, just really proud of him last night. He's really turning into a nice horse. And I almost want to take him to Kentucky, and I wouldn't even mind trying to race him without hobbles in one day, because he's really come such a long way in a short period of time. I'm just very, very proud of what he's turned into. Carter Michael Dio, again, a little bit sick when he came back from New Jersey, but that's expected. He's doing some traveling. So he is tentatively scheduled for the Champlain. We're going to keep an eye on him, probably do some blood work, and have a reevaluation of him early Monday morning before the draw, just to make sure, because quite frankly, there's a Champlain in the Breeders' Crown. Carter Michael Dio will race in the Breeders' Crown this year. I'm almost certain of it. But if he doesn't make the Champlain, fine. Like I said to Dominic Hughes, well, we can, put him on antibiotics. I said, just so we're clear, if he's not 100%, he's not going into the Champlain. I'm not really that worried about it, but I expect he will be. Come Monday morning, I expect a much cleaner bill of health for Carter Michael Dio. Cash Deals is back jogging now. Should be a while getting ready yet. Chocolate for Lunch was actually sold. So this is the last time you're going to hear me talk about Chocolate for Lunch. We got fair market value for her. I thought, all things considered, it was okay. And I was pretty happy with it overall. You know what? I forgot to ask if they took that horse to Peterborough. Can you call Mario and ask him if he did? Because I don't know how he would have known. Damn it.
Well, who was shipping? Not Mario.
Oh, that's a good point. Who would have shipped? Maybe, no, Debbie wouldn't have been shipping. Just find out if he took them. Columbus was a winner. Was he a winner? Yes, he was a winner in his last fair. He'll be racing this week at Worcester. I promise, this week we're racing at Worcester. Coupe de Ville finished second. Easily the best mile of her life. You talk about horses coming around, starting to understand their work. There's a filly there that's got it all figured out now. Super proud of her. Crantini will be here Thursday for the Champlain. Really happy with Crantini and what he's been doing this year. How couldn't you be? He's just been exceptional. This will be our flag bearer in the Mohawk Millions on September 24th in 2 weeks. next Thursday, he races in the Champlain here in Ontario. Cunning Connie has one last race in the semifinals and hopefully, likely the finals, and she'll do so on Lasix. We've been fighting with this all year long. We're going to nip it in the bud, I think. It wasn't something where you could say, why didn't you put her on Lasix early? We didn't want to. That's why. And it wasn't a real problem until it was a problem, and that was her last start. Cutie Cumber has now gone out to the field. We're going to give her the rest of the summer off and bring her back. Probably give her 5-6 weeks in the field and bring her back. Really, really high hope. And you might say to yourself, well, Anthony, why only? Maybe it might be a little bit longer. We want to have her ready for a little bit of a softer start to next year. And then if she's as good as we believe she is, give her another little rest and then move her on. I think that's the best way to handle it. Some people might say, well, just give her 3 months off. 4 months off. I don't want to start erasing what we've done with this filly also. Physically, can't give them too much time off. Five Fish Species will make her first lifetime start on Tuesday. I'll be watching very closely. Full Heart, the crack, that little line in her cannabone is healed up good now. The vet said you could go to the field, but I would like to give her a little more time, so I think we will. Over that period of time, we may walk her on the walker and Northfield Park also, just to give her a little tiny bit of exercise at the same time as not stressing her out. See, the problem is, if you go and put them in a big field when that line is just healed back in, who knows what they'll do. Take off 1,000,000 miles an hour because she's been in her stall and end up doing more damage than she had before. You gotta let them gradually work into even that field time. So over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'll get Full Heart in a position where she can be tossed out in the field. But for now, very, very light hand walking, maybe some time on the walker, so, and that 2-3 days a week, but most off, you just give her more rest. But it's healed perfectly. It's healing in perfectly now. Gandalf the Black will probably, what day is it? He'll probably come back November 1st, around there. Again, another horse that didn't have a strong schedule. We'll probably bring him back for a little softer start, he won't be back for the end of 2022, but the early part of 2023 he will. High Enterprise, I do want to give her lots of time off. I just need to put a ton of weight on her, let her get her head square, and see if we can bring her back and have her racing as the horse we bought her to be. She was one of the letdowns of this year. I can't believe I'm saying that after she qualified so well, but that's the truth. And I hope time off will change your mind. Did you get anything back?
Yeah, she got a ride down there.
Oh, good. Horn Player, another filly, just going to give her a couple of months to grow up and fill out. Man, she didn't get to where we wanted her to be, but you know what? I felt like she wanted to be. She just wasn't physically mature enough, and I don't have a problem with that. I never have had a problem with Horn Player. I really like the filly, and I think she's got a bright future ahead of her. It's just going to take...
Tactical landings might take...
And you know what's funny? So I had a conversation with Jimmy Tactor last night. He said, Anthony, Tactical Landing himself is exactly how these horses are. He took a long... If you guys remember, Tactical Landing was a super expensive horse that didn't race very well at 2, ended up injuring himself at the end of his 3-year-old year, but he said even he was very immature physically at 2, so it isn't that shocking that his offspring are also. That I don't find that as a detriment. I mean, truthfully, Una Madonna was ready to go in June, right? Lots of our Tactile Landings were ready, but I like the fact that all different types, some were ready at the end, they didn't fizzle out and burn out. They did their work, and I like it. I think they're a good breed of horse.
But the mental maturity, I think,
it just takes time.
Mature.
Yeah, but Landing Pad was maturing. If he hadn't just, if that horse, and maybe we should have caught him earlier on, I don't know. But that horse there, if he hadn't got that little buck shin, that night that Chris Christopher or Jody left with him, he looked good. He looked like he was coming around. He's another horse that was just on the precipice of being physically, like the day I qualified him and all those days I schooled him. Do you remember the day, were you there the day I kind of weaved through traffic to win the schooler? Mentally, that horse was there. He just was getting there physically and ended up getting his leg banged up a little bit, but he'll be fine. Where are we at now? We got Lady All-Star who'll be schooling next week. James is committed to schooling her next week. Landing Pad, as Amy and I just talked about, a little more time off. Then he's going to get did we castrate him?
Yes.
We did castrate him.
He can go out middle of September. He can go to the field.
Middle of September. So there you go. Another week, and he'll be out in the field. Where are we at now? Landing Strip, as I said, was tremendous last night. Just very proud of him. Leaps and Bounds is back in Ohio. The vet looked her over to you, just said, a little worn down. He said, I see little aches and pains everywhere. I said, well, she doesn't have the final for another week, I believe. I got to look it up. And quite frankly, if she's not ready for the final, then she's not ready for the final. You know, I'm not going to go down there and rush her down, take her back. She's at Northfield Park right now. I'm not going to rush her back down to Kentucky to get her face beat in. If she is feeling good next week, on draw day, she'll be entered. Otherwise, she won't be going back to Kentucky. She also has those races in Corbin and is not heavily raced this year. I would like to take the time to reassess this filly and her viability moving forward as far as whether I think she is going to be.
You just said that
Corbin.
track wasn't ready.
That's right, Corbin. It's not ready. So they're racing the Corbin Stakes at the Red Mile.
Yeah.
What's that?
You said it started with a G.
I did, you're right. That's why I couldn't go up with it, because I always have it in my head as a G. Leaps and bounds. If she's ready to go next week, she will, and if she's not, she won't. Merchant Man, a lot of people asked Anthony, how can he possibly be a first also eligible when he's never raced? It's a great point. The point being is that, again, we get into a situation where they begged us for our entries all year, but when we enter 2 stable horses in a full field, they're like, wow, only one can race. So I should maybe bring that up to them the next time they're begging for an entry to make an 8-horse field. Is that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Merchant Man should be in. He isn't in, and that's why. We chose 5 fish species because Merchant Man's liver count's a little high, and it really isn't going to be a big deal if we school him on Tuesday. Another horse entered at Corbin. That horse will be racing at Corbin also. And I think that guy, by the time Corbin comes around, he'll be just peaking also. My 1%, nope, I'm not there yet. Mo Power Baby is going to be turned out another week. She got a little, they give her a little time off at the end of her staking that she was in. Put a good blister on her, 3 weeks in stall, then she's going out to the field. Somebody asked me, when you say put a little blister, what do you mean? So it's a little leg pain, heats her joints up, causes a little heat in the area, which, you know, the theory behind it is to cause a little heat, and then blood will come, blood flow will increase in that area, help healing whatever minor injuries are bothering the horses. So when we say a blister, that's why we say it, that's what we're meaning to do. Usually something a little stronger than ball solution, maybe a little cedar oil or something, it'll cause that area to blow up a little bit, blood flow will go to it and start to heal it up. So we put a minor blister on Mo Power Baby, and when that swelling subsides, probably at that point turn her out in the field. More Than You Know is already out in the field. He had his hit and miss, wasn't as sharp as last 2 or 3 starts, but had a lot of mucus also. And I said, you know, what are we doing here? He's got no stakes left. Why are we doing this? Just turn him out in the field, let him grow up. We'll bring him back, and he'll only get about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and we'll bring him back. Much like these other horses, maybe what I would call a soft start to their sophomore campaign, where you'd race them 2 or 3 times, reevaluate, do we continue, do we shut them down, and then go from there. Oh my gosh is after, where did I go here? My 1% is where I'm at now. He's back jogging right now. I suspect to be ready somewhere December-ish. Again, when we're talking about that soft start, but he didn't really have any start to his rookie year, so he will start racing.
Say where he's jogging so people don't try this.
That's right. So right now we have a little bit of a overflow at First Line until they get some of these stables moved out that are going to Florida. So we do have some of our horses still at Tamiko, and Rod Hughes, who we had 3 horses turned out there. I said, hey, I heard you guys said overflow. If you do, I can just jog these guys for a little bit here on my farm track. So right now Rod Hughes is actually jogging my 1%, sipping on my shine. Who's the other one? Who's the third one?
Is it Cash Deals?
Cash Deals. That's exactly who it is. So my 1% has been jogging for about a week and will continue to jog. Nothing But a Dreamer, Champlain. So here's the thing with Red Overbach and Nothing But a Dreamer. Pay very close attention. I'll bring it up in other videos, but this is very complex. So we're going to race them both. We're going to race him in the Champlain. A lot of people said, why isn't Red Overbach in the grassroots? So very important. I'm getting off track, but I think it's important because it's very similar. Nothing But a Dreamer is obviously one of the leaders in the grassroots. The eliminations go for 15, the final goes for 60, whatever. The last gold will go for 100. If he finishes first or second in the last gold, he makes a $300,000 final. I think that is where we should be, rather than taking the easy route of 15 and 16 his year being over, because he can't race in the last gold if he races in the grassroots. Now, he can't race in the last grassroots. If he's racing in the gold, it's 3 days later. So we have to forego the entire grassroots season to gamble that we're going to be first or second. Now, I guess the other argument is he is one of the better gold horses, and he should finish first or second, no matter, depending on where he draws. And at that point, if he does, he'll make the super final. So we are going to race in the Champlain with Nothing But a Dreamer and reevaluate. But I suspect that will lead to him being entered in the last gold and foregoing the grassroots ending segment of the entire season, which I'm okay with. Red Overbach is not in the grassroots because the last grassroots, you can't race in the last gold and last grassroots. So if we enter in the last grassroots, we can't race in the last gold. If we choose to go to the super final with Red Overbach, who likely will make the final. As of right now, he's in 11th, but one of the horses on the list is done for the year. So for all intents and purposes, he's in 10th. We have to race in the gold at London to be eligible. You have to race in 2 legs or 50 points. To be eligible to the final, he has to race in 2 legs. He's only raced in 1. So he has to race in the last leg if we have any thoughts of racing in the super final. Do we race against Twin B Archie and Jody's other horse? It's a tough road forward. But none of that has to be answered this week. We're going to race Red Overbach in the pop-up series and skip the grassroots and look to the gold. I believe we can take the easy way out, go to the grassroots where he'll probably be 1, 2, 3, or we can take a tougher road where he has a chance to race for 300 and get all of that. Twin B Archie's no grassroots horse. Neither is Jody's horse that beat Twin B Archie in his last race. That's the other problem, is that Jody drives and will drive Jeff Gillis' horse. He will not drive Red Overbach. So that's another problem all its own. So a lot to take in. Either way, it doesn't matter. There's no need to race in the grassroots. If we want to go to the semifinal, we're in it. If we want to race in the final, we should have to do well in the semifinal. Again, 15, 60. Is it better to race for the 60? This is where the paths are a little different. I believe it's a slam dunk for Nothing But a Dreamer. Race in the Champlain, race in the last gold. Red Overbach's not so much a slam dunk. I can make a very, very good argument to race Red Overbach in the semifinals and the final of the grassroots, and that's a discussion we'll have this week. But to leave that door open to have that conversation, he had to skip the grassroots this week, so that's why he's not in. So, oh my gosh, trained in 2-3 the other day. He's going to qualify next week. Another big sloppy colt. Is he going to turn into a nice horse or just a horse? I don't know, but he's ready to go now. Old Check, decent year. I'm interested to see what he's going to become later on. Not disappointed in him. It's a tough road. This Ontario Sire Stakes program is so tough. I'm happy that he paced 55 and had a couple of wins, 1 or 2 wins. You know, they're racing today at Peterborough. Unfortunately, he has to race against Marshall Zukov again. But we'll see how that plays out over the next, over the next couple of weeks. Rito Legacy continues to train down. Everybody's happy with Rito Legacy. Rosita's Dream races tomorrow night. Sunday night will be likely his last start of the year. I do have him in the sale on Monday, the preferred sale. We have 3 horses in the preferred sale on Monday. Whispering Song, should be no surprise to anybody why she's in there. Decent filly, bit of a letdown, but the other day I just felt she did all she could. She's just not as good as I hoped she was. That happens. Rosita's Dream, slam dunk why he's in it also. He's done for the season on Sunday night for the most part. Maybe somebody in Illinois wants to race him a couple of times. Maybe they want to keep him over for next year. I have no idea. And then Victor Cruz again. Victor Cruz is entered Wednesday. I will retain him if we don't get fair market. And I think it's got to be somewhere near 18-20 US for Victor Cruz. If we don't get that, I'll keep him, race him the fair, race him in the next few fairs, race him Delaware a week, and then we'll decide again. We put him on the sale board after that. But for now, there will be a reserve somewhat on Victor Cruz. I think that's only fair. Silent Assassin will probably come back in 4 weeks. Yeah, we'll start her back up. Very disappointed with her season overall. I think she should have been, could have been, and might have been better had things been a little different with Silent Assassin. Sipping on my shine, back jogging now. Big Canoe Head is jogging at Rod's place. Sir Strong, he may have a career in the thoroughbred industry if he doesn't make it as a standardbred. Apparently, the way he looked last week, he he didn't race this week, I will drive him his next start. He can't be here Tuesday. We had other horses to race in the maiden. You may see a horse like Sir Strong show up in the Meadows also. There's a horse that could probably do some good. I've been asking Tim, are they going to do that pop-up series again? Because I have a horse right now that would fit it really, really good. So we'll see. I'd love to get that done. We'll see how that plays out next week. Sister Solange has turned out, I'm giving her more time than as much time as any 2-year-old we have. All the time in the world to grow up, fill out. I think she wants to be a good horse. She took a mark at 58. She did win a stake race this year. She did win a Stallion Series event, and I think she will be a very nice 3-year-old for us.
I'm going to do it, bud.
What's that?
The raccoon. It's still there.
Oh, the raccoon.
Yeah.
Smoking Hot Irish Girl. The other day, the vet come in and he said, I think she's displacing a little bit. Her muscles here, very, very tight. What we do in this situation is trim them a little bit. Just trim these muscles just a little bit. And I think she'll be that much better. So we did trim them a little bit the other day. Shouldn't be a problem. I'm very interested to see. I've only seen this done on one horse before. And after we trimmed her, she was exceptionally good. You remember who it was? Long time ago. Many, many moons ago.
How many years ago?
Which predated our marriage. The horse's name was Sophisticat. Sophisticat was a very good filly. One of those horses that just was just an overachiever at the highest level. It didn't seem like she was able, nor should be able, to do what she was doing, but did. And just a very, very nice filly. And we had that done to her. The strap muscles are strapping, I think it's called, something like that. So Smoking on Irish Girl, not a lot of downtime. She's going to be back racing next week. Spitfire Overseas saw his blood today. His differential's a little flipped. Not shocking the way he raced. You guys know what's going on with this guy. He'll probably race in a 2-year-old event, like an overnight 2-year-old race at Mohawk. If he looks as good as I hope and believe he will, heading into October, you may see him show up in the Breeders' Crown. I really, really like Spitfire Overseas. And if we decide to race him a couple of times, like, all right, he's getting a little tired. All right, kick him out. No problem at all there either. So that is how the fall is going to look for Spitfire Overseas. But make no mistake, a very serious contender as a sophomore. I'm sure he will be. Great work ethic, great attitude, great gait, and lots of speed to offer. I think he's going to be a real nice sophomore for us regardless. Swinging Senorita was great again the other day. This filly was off 3 weeks and 4 days. Trained one time a qualifier in 2 minutes, trained a mile and 25, qualified her in 2 minutes, and then went out and just went the best mile of her life. 156 flat last quarter, fastest last quarter and fastest mile of her life on a 3-week layoff. So how good is she going to be for the last few starts of the year? Really impressed with what this filly's done this year. Where are we at now? Swinging Senorita, Tactical Mounds. I just love what this filly did and how she did it. She's so chill on the track now. To see what she was and to see what she is now, it truly is exceptional what she's done and how she's improved as a racehorse, as an athlete. She's just done such a great job. Just very, very impressed with what she's done and where she's at right now. Tailgate Bus, much needed rest. Again, another 2-year-old that had just an exceptional year. Very impressed with him. Victor Cruz, as I said on the preferred thing, we went over that a few minutes ago, what's going on with him and where he's at. War with Yuri, lots of time off, bring him back, and hope that breeding shows up. He did as much right. If you would have asked us in February where War with Yuri would be in the summer as far as physicality, I think everybody in the barn would be shocked. 2-2, 2-3, they went behind the gate 3 or 4 times and said, okay, let's turn him out and let him grow up.
Don't forget he's a stud, eh?
Yuri's still a stud? I think he should stay that way.
Okay.
I don't mind him. If he comes back and he's got a bad attitude, we'll cut him, but I don't think he will. I think he'll be fine. Won a mission, bit of a goofball. He's growing on me, though. I don't mind how he's going. I think a couple of those breaks, I said he's just a little hot, making mistakes. Might have a few little aches and pains also. We had the vet go over. I'm just waiting for a report from Dr. Mike here today about how he, how he feels, what a mission is. This week he's going to race again. Now we all know that last flat line's a lie. He did make a break, but according to his program, he's got a flat line, and we'll see if he can use that false line to grow up and turn into a better horse. He is, for sure, in the consolation of the Sire Stakes, which we will race him in. He will not make the Buckeye final, but if he has a decent next 3 weeks, he might make the Buckeye consolation, possibly, which would be an okay fall ending for What a Mission. And then Whispering Song is on the preferred sale board tomorrow. I think she'll sell. She still has worth. She's got 2 wins. Did okay this year. Trotted in 59, 2 minutes a couple of times. I think a lot of people should be interested. There's like 5 to 8 stakes fairs left. There's Jug Week. A lot of people should be interested in Whispering Song. And no different than the reason we're selling her. Do you want to stop me at popcorn? You sure? You're going to order it later on, though, aren't you? I know you're... Yeah, I can see it in your head.
I don't know what's wrong with your stomach or something.
Well, what you drank, what you ate last night, who knows? Whispering Song, so she's on the preferred sale platform. And then, of course, we have Wouldn't It Be Nice, who's training down good also. I'll be honest, I haven't seen her train myself, but Mario's been quite happy with her. I think he said he's been in 218 with her, so we'll see how... Have you seen her on the track?
No, I have not.
We'll see how she is over the next few weeks, but all things point to a good fall for Wouldn't It Be Nice, so we'll see. Anyway, that's your 2-year-olds. You're back. Still going to talk with the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. I'll get to that later on today. But for now, you're all caught up with the 2-year-olds.